Hey there! Do you know how to pronounce words with the OUGH letter combination when you see them written in English? It's complicated because in American English we have 6 different pronunciations, and in British English there's 10. So when you see the words, how do you know which way they're pronounced? So in this lesson, we're going to go over each of these pronunciation. I'm going to give you words and tips on how to know when to pronounce them which way. I'm going to give you lots of phrases to help you practice and see them in context. This was a request from Ana Patricia, so Ana Patricia, here you go, and I hope this helps everybody else who's watching the video. So let's go ahead and jump in now. Hey there, boys and girls. In this video, we're going to look at how to pronounce the OUGH letter combination in English words. Do you know how to pronounce these words? That's because the OUGH letter combination is one of the most unpredictable to pronounce because there are 6 variations in American English and 10 in British English. But don't worry, because I'm going to give you lots of sample words and sentences using those words to help you practice. The suggestion for this video came from Ana Patricia, who left the comment, ought, although, taught, etc. words and sounds like these. Thanks. So I said, you got it. Ana Patricia, excellent suggestion. I'll add them to my list. Thanks for the comment. So I added it to my list, and the time has now come to record this video. So I hope this helps you, Ana Patricia, and everyone else who is watching. Now, before we get started, I want you to take a look at this sentence and try to pronounce it. Let's see if you can pronounce each of these underlined words with the OUGH sound correctly. Go ahead. I'll give you a few seconds to try and say it. Got it? Okay. Now I'm going to read it, and you follow along and see if you pronounced it correctly. Have you thought this through thoroughly enough? So we had thought, through, thoroughly enough. 4 different sounds. So now let's go ahead and take a look at why this happens. Why do we have so many different pronunciations for these sounds? Now, originally, Anglo-Saxon words were written with an H to indicate a voiceless velar fricative in words like Bach with a hard H sound. So words in the Anglo-Saxon language that had the H sound had a hard sound like what you just saw here. Now, the voiceless velar fricative, just in case you don't know, is simply a rasp in the back of your throat in words like lach or the word Bach that we just saw. So what happened was that around the 13th century, when the French invaded and began to influence the English language, a G was added to the H to represent this voiceless velar fricative, the hard H sound. But later, around the 17th century, the voiceless velar fricative began to change. Here's what happened. In some words, the GH disappeared completely, like in the words through and bought. Okay, so you don't say throughgi and you don't say bogachi. You totally eliminate those GH sounds, through and bought. In others, it was converted to a voiceless labiodental fricative, a rasp between the teeth and lips that now sounds like an F sound in words like cough and enough. So that's why some words have this F sound. So we just simply change the rasp from the back of the throat and put it up front between the teeth and lips with the F sound. So this happened not only in words with the OUGH sound as in though, but also with words with the EIGH sound as in neighbor, AUGH sound as in taught, and the IGH sound as in high. But in this video, we're going to focus just on the OUGH sound to keep it as simple as possible. Now, while I was compiling a list of words with the OUGH sound, I found a list of 200 139 words. These varied from small words with only 5 letters like bow, you can see highlighted in the first column, to words with 20 letters, like the one you can see in the second column, way down at the bottom, 4 thoughtfulnesses. So you may be thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, how am I going to learn all the words on this list? But don't worry, it's not that complicated. You can see that the main word we're focusing on here in 4 thoughtfulnesses is the word thought, where the OUGH sound is, okay? So you can see that there's a lot of words on this list with thought. Thoughtful, thoughtfully, thoughtfulness, thoughtfulnesses, thoughtless, thoughtlessly. So once you learn the basic core word, the rest are going to be pretty easy. It's not as difficult as it first sounds. So let's go ahead and take a look here at each of the main sounds of the OUGH letter combination. So the first sound we're going to look at is the long O sound, as in dough. Okay, that's dough. We use the long O sound. That's the same word that you hear in words like toe, no, or go. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice, listen, and repeat along with me. Dough, dough, furlough, furlough, though, thorough, thorough, although. Now let's go through and look at a sentence with each of these words for you to see them in context and practice a little more. I love mixing bread dough. I love mixing bread dough. The missionaries are home on furlough. The missionaries are home on furlough. I like it even though it smells weird. I like it even though it smells weird. He always does a thorough job. He always does a thorough job. I understand, although I don't think it's a very good excuse. I understand, although I don't think it's a very good excuse. Great, so now let's look at words with the long U sound. Okay, these are words that sound like to, through, or shoe. So let's start with the first one there. Listen and repeat along with me. Through, through, throughout, throughout, throughput, throughput, throughway, throughway. Okay, let's look at the sentence. It was too big to fit through the door. It was too big to fit through the door. He traveled there often throughout his lifetime. He traveled there often throughout his lifetime. They spend the day trying to measure throughput on the server. They spend the day trying to measure throughput on the server. An accident prevented us from getting on the throughway. An accident prevented us from getting on the throughway. Fantastic. Now let's take a look at words with the aw sound. Aw is in law. So this aw sound normally happens in words that end with the letter T. There is one exception, that's drought, okay? And that's the next sound we're going to look at. But most words that end with the letter T have the aw sound, as in bought, bought, brought, brought, ought, ought, sought, sought, thought, thought, wrought, wrought. Great, let's look at the sentences. I bought a new house last year. I bought a new house last year. She brought me some coffee. She brought me some coffee. You ought to go with them. You ought to go with them. They sought new ways to increase productivity. They sought new ways to increase productivity. He thought she was nuts. He thought she was nuts. It wrought a terrible plague. It wrought a terrible plague. Good. Moving on to words with the OU sound in cow, now, or how. Okay? So we have the words bow, bow, plow, plow, and drought, drought. So as I mentioned earlier, this word has the OU sound even though it ends with T, but usually they have the AW sound. Okay, so here we have the OW sound, drought. So if you remember this one, the exception, it should be fairly easy. Now let's look at the sentences. The bough fell off during the storm. The bough fell off during the storm. He hates to plow his farm. He hates to plow his farm. They suffered a severe drought. They suffered a severe drought. Okay, great. So now let's look at some of those OUGH letter combinations that have the F sound as in off. Okay, so you're going to pronounce it like scoff or stroganoff. So we have the words cough, cough, and trough, trough. Let's look at the sentences. She was coughing all afternoon. She was coughing all afternoon. The horses drank from the trough. The horses drank from the trough. Good. Now let's look at some more words that have the F sound, only this time it has the short U sound, uff, in words like cuff, stuff, or buff. So here we go. Let's look at the words. Listen and repeat with me. Enough, enough, rough, rough, slough, slough, tough, tough. Very good. Let's look at the sentences. That's enough for today. That's enough for today. It was a rough game. It was a rough game. He always sloughs off on the job. He always sloughs off on the job. She is one tough boss. She is one tough boss. So let me just say there is one final exception, which is the word hiccup, which you may see spelled as hiccup with the OUGH sound, okay? Now, normally in American English, we spell it with a P, but in British English, it's still spelled with the OUGH sound. But other than that, just go ahead and have fun. Practice pronouncing these words with the OUGH letter combination. Learn which ones to use with which of the pronunciations, and practice till you master them. Feel free to go back and watch this video as many times as you need to, but if you want more resources, I have included the bibliography here where I did get some of this information, so you can go to them for even more insight into these sounds. And there's another list of links here with even more resources, other videos, and other sites where you can practice the OUGH sound as well. Now, obviously, you can't click on them here in the video, but they are on the site at exlenglish.com, so you can go there, download the PDFs, download these slides. I'm going to leave them there so they're easy for you to access and get to this information. I hope you enjoyed it and find it helpful. If you have other questions, leave them in the comments below so we can answer them or even record another video for you. And remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you're updated automatically in the future, and share this video with your family and friends, people who want to learn English. We appreciate you helping us spread the word. And you can also participate with us at Patreon. We appreciate your support. Have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.